Welcome back to another video, y'all.
Disclaimer, this video is PG-13. There are some swear words. There are a couple F words in there. It's okay. It comes with the territory. But my whole thing is, again, I'm not monetized. I'm not making any money. I'm just trying to share some decent information. Trying to help people save some money because I have built a couple of these engines and you pretty much learn off of the first couple. Especially when your first engine is a complete shit show. So, without further ado, take in as much as you can, learn as much as you can. If anybody has any questions, you can hit me up on my Instagram. I have it linked in my YouTube. But you're going to get most of the information here in this video. So, enjoy, y'all.
Surprise, another engine. But this one is different. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. B18C1. So this is a real VTEC block. So instead of like what I had going on with the race engine, or will have going on with that, this came with the VTEC. This is a full VTEC block, and I got a VTEC head with it for a really good deal. And this is really cool too. I got the original manifold. And you'll think, oh, Jeff, that's upside down. No. This is actually the OEM GSR, Integra GSR manifold, and it's supposed to be orientated like that. Super weird. I've never seen it before, but it's super cool. I thought it was aftermarket because I seen these spacers in here, and I'm like, what the shit is going on? But sure shit, that's an OEM one. So we got manifold, a whole engine, and we got bearings. These are like factory refresh bearings, something you'd use like just to, you know, if you're just doing a simple rebuild. We are not going to use those. Obviously, we're going to use the ACL race bearings because what I'm going to be using this engine for, we're going to put it in the turbo tag. Now, if I can throw a picture up here of the turbo tag, maybe a couple pictures, maybe even a walk around. That's the car that we're going to be putting it in. And it's going to kick ass. So this will be basically fully built, turbo, VTEC. It'll be awesome. I'm super excited. I'm just now realizing that one of the water pump dowels got stuck. Whatever, we'll figure that out later. So, if you're wondering why this is all red, I got ATF chilling in the cylinders because this block had been sitting for a long time without the cylinder head on it. And John was over. You guys seen John. He was in the last couple of videos just helping me out. Some mice got into this. You know, it was just sitting like this. I believe it was cylinder 2, this one, where there was a bunch of shit in there. This thing still smells like rat shit and piss. Okay. So I just had a little bite to eat. Before that, I had a big old Kresge on here, and I made sure she was tight. You know, the old Kreskes will slip sometimes. I got my big Kresge here. Had the Kresge on there, and I had a breaker bar on it. And I put some force on there, and she didn't want to move. I'll tell you what. Oh, did she go a little bit? She might have. Oh, hold on. I gotta go this way now. I felt something. And it wasn't the wrench. Come on, tighten up. This wrench does suck sometimes. Just doesn't tighten or loosen how you want it to. Now we gotta get this moved so I can turn this. I can hear the rings just not having a good time. Yeah, you can hear him. I can hear this one right here. Oh, we might have got a little bit there. Oh. There she goes. Yeah! What a treat! Oh, fuck yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah. What a treat. What a treat. Look at that. Just ATF everywhere. Oh, that ATF and brake clean just does the fucking trick. Yes! Oh, I'm so glad I got that on film. Look at all that schmoo coming out of there. Look at that. It's all brown. It's not even red. Oh, it's not even red. It's brown. All right. Let me get this back to TDC because I do have the... Oh, it even spins by hand now. What a treat. So I got one and four. Those cap actually. So we're gonna need it here so we can pull it. All right, perfect. That's a fucking win. I ain't making any money on this YouTube, and I've already copyrighted me, so I'll play a little bit of jam. This is what I'm listening to. I'm listening to some techno, house music, drum and bass, jungle, all that. I'm gonna pause it here real quick so you guys can hear me better, but yeah. We're doing stuff and things. We're having a good time. There she goes, just like so. Ooh, that's a good looking crank. And then, if you really want, because, well, and I need to. Got everything out. Time to pull the crank. And then, I haven't even looked at the main bearings yet. I had literally just pulled them out and I turned the camera on. So we're probably going to get a little bit of stickage for maybe a couple bearings. If not, that's fine too. How about that? Not even the thrust washers got stuck. Nice. So I did spin this around, but I did not look at the actual mains yet. So we're looking good. Looking just a little bit of grit there. Yeah, looking good. Looking good. Hell yeah. This engine's ready to kick some ass after I'm done with it. Alright, so we're going to start plastic gauge process. I think I'm going to do a little time lapse on this, but first thing you want to do, make sure you don't have any lint or anything on your mains here. Basically just clean everything. We're going to set the crank into the mains with our bearings. Then we will set our bearings into our main caps. And then we will put plastic gauge on top of the crank. And then we will put main caps on, tighten it down. And then we'll loosen everything and then we will check our clearances. So I'm going to listen to some music. You guys enjoy a time lapse. get yourself some bush apple. All right, so I haven't even done anything yet, so you guys are going to see this firsthand. We're going to push this engine over there. Hopefully we get some movement. So I'll remember where she's at. So yeah, you're going to want to take your oil orifices out first, because those oil orifices actually go down into the rod for the rockers. There we go. You don't necessarily need an extension this big. I just happen to have one on hand. I'll mark where we're at. So we're about there. But you'll start to see it coming out. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. So this oil orifice drops down into there, and then it drops into here. And that oil is dispersed throughout for the rockers. Usually when you get this out about halfway, you can pull it out by hand. Alright, so where are we at? So we are there. So we can pop these guys out. I am not going to zip tie them because I don't need to. We got that. And we'll see if we can grab onto this. I like to grab onto it with a rag. Move the old bush apple. Oh yeah, she's in there pretty good. I have a feeling, well, I know for sure this hasn't been taken apart before. But this is nice when if you have a long extension, because sometimes you'll have to. Okay, I'm feeling it freeing up a bit, so we might be able to grab onto it now. There she goes. Once you grab onto it, just slowly take out your rockers, keep them all in order. It's not a huge deal, but if you can do it, do it. There she goes. She freed up a lot. Yeah, this thing's probably never been taken apart before. Most people just get these cylinder heads and they just throw them on their car. When little do they know, it's super easy to rebuild them, and it is very beneficial. Oh, okay. So yeah, we got pins coming out. That's fine. Last motion assemblies in the garbage. We'll be back with it with some parts. We got VTEC oil squirter block off plugs. I got some. I always get 2 sets of thrust washers because they're so damn cheap. Might as well get them. ACL, of course. We got rod bearings, and we got 2 sets of main bearings. We got .025 over and standard size. Brand new. And I did end up getting some merch. Shout out Speed Factory. I got a shirt too. It's pretty tight. Yeah. Today I'd like to I can get some of this gunk out of this block. I'd like to get the cylinders honed and then cleaned up and all that, and then maybe deck it. I don't know yet. Yeah, I'm looking at the water jacket, and there's a bunch of goodness in there. Okay, so I do have it decked down real nice. I might go over it a little bit more. Same thing with the cylinders. Now that you got a wrap or two, you want to have this be as even as possible. And you just do a little bit of this. Cool. Do this for a couple of minutes and get something to adjust your strings here, so you're staying in the middle. I think we are getting, I'm kind of getting caught on the sandpaper, which is good. That means the string isn't moving, but now we're kind of overlapped here now, which is not what we want. We want even contact patch. Try not to gouge up your crank in the process of this, because then you get to get a new crank and everything gets to be machined at a real shop. I'm mostly doing this just to see if I can do it, just to, you know, for future projects and to clean stuff up. Yeah, see, we're getting all bunged up here. It does work better if you just do one wrap. That way you're not getting all bunged up. Here, we're going to pull this off. And we'll see if we've made any progress. Oh yeah, a little bit. Alright, Honda valve seals. Usually 50-50. All the engines I've worked on, it's always been a 50-50 shot of just being able to pull them out. Or you gotta heat them up a little bit to melt that rubber to get them out. Good way to know when you've heated her up enough is if you hear crackling. Let's grab that quick. Sometimes you might have to heat it up a bit more, but that one popped out pretty good. For this next clip, I'm going to show you guys how I clean my valves, but this is something you can do at home, super easy. You need one, well, maybe technically two tools. You need a wire wheel. And as you guys can see, I got a cheap one. This is like 50 bucks. But if you just have a simple bench, or you could even get something like a shelf, and as long as like your actual shelf pieces are bolted down, you could bolt this down and do the work you need to do. If you have a brass wire wheel, you shouldn't have any issues, because usually your valves are going to be a hardened steel or you know, something of that sort. So a brass it's not gonna get into the actual metal. It's just gonna clean all the deposits, carbon, and in my case, it's actually rat piss soaked carbon. So it smells fantastic when you're grinding it off. That's how you do that. Now, 9 times out of 10, well actually 10 times out of 10, your exhaust valves are going to be way more gunked up than your intake. These are not even cleaned yet. The only carbon we have is on top. This can basically be wiped off, but I am gonna just go over it quick with a little wire wheel. Also, if your valves aren't that bad, actually the best way to do it, because most people have a drill at home, you take the valve and you actually put it in your drill, I think you guys seen this when I did my last engine build video for the Civic. Stick the valve in your drill, and you get some Scotch-Brite, some rough stuff. You know, I usually it's like a gray color. It's almost like a hard sponge material. You take that, and then you just, you know, as you got your valve inside of your drill, you let the drill spin and you just hold it on. Might get a little warm, but you know, you let off for a second, and yeah, you can do the tops and all that too. Yeah, it's simple. Another thing you got to be careful about, like I said, the main thing, even with the brass wire wheel, just make sure, you know, the thing doesn't catch and then it goes flying, and then you either lose a valve or you break a valve or you bend it or what have you. Well, a guy has been doing some more things. First of all, cheers. It's well, for me it's Friday. It's Thursday, but I don't got to work tomorrow, so we're gonna do a little bit of wrenching, a little bit of working, a little bit of partying. You know how it goes. Here's what's going on. So I think the last time we were working on this, like working on this, I think I was either honing the block out more, or I think it was when I was doing valve lapping. Either way, doesn't matter what I was doing last. Here's where we are. So cylinder head is ready to be assembled. The valves are lapped. I'm waiting on valve seals. I have everything else to put that together. Block is honed. There's a little bit of, you know, this, that, or whatever in the cylinders, but it's smooth. It looks good for the most part. We're going to run it. The deck is clean. It's been decked, obviously. I think I filmed that. I cleaned the block. It actually looks pretty good. There's a couple small spots that I'll probably just whiz up a little bit, but this is actually like one of the cleaner blocks that I've had, especially on the outside. I got parts coming for this. I already have the rods. I think I filled you guys in on that. I just ordered pistons. I got a head gasket coming. I got a water pump coming on top of the valve seals that I ordered. I ordered all that at the same time. So the block, once I get the pistons, the rings, and that's pretty much it, I can assemble this bottom end. It'll be a rotating assembly. I'm going to do DevCon in the water jackets. So I don't know if I filled anybody in. Gia player, bottom end, ready to go. 500 horse. We're going to kick some ass. It's not bubbling on that side too much because I got this port open still, but fucking A, she's going to work. So basically what you do is you fill the water jackets up pretty much right past to like where the water pump comes. I don't know if you guys can see, but if I shine a light in here, there's the light. So pretty much right to the top of that. So we'll fill up, what we'll do is we'll stuff a rag in here or something to basically block it off. And then we'll fill pretty much up to the top of that port with either like granulated salt or granulated sugar, whichever one. Pack it down, make it even, and then on top of that you lay down basically an epoxy, high strength, high temp epoxy, and then you let that dry, and then you lay your head gasket over top, and you drill holes through where your head gasket is. Mildly strengthen the cylinders. They keep them from walking and moving around at high RPM. And just, you know, like endurance stuff, I suppose. And again, you know, you got to think these blocks are old, so anything that you can do to help will help. Never heard of that before. It is especially on Honda engines, it's a very tried and true method of keeping everything intact, preventing cylinder cracking, stuff like that. And you really got to think, you only have about an inch. It's only the inch of the top of the water jackets. And that's where you're going to see, you know, most of the flex, because this is an open deck design. All right, cool. Moving on. I found some extra parts. I found some neat parts. I found this AEM fuel rail in my bin of parts. Super dope. Super stoked about that. I tested a couple different injectors, and they should all fit. If not, I can, space it out with some spacers in there. I'm already going to put like something, like a little rubber piece in between the fuel rail and the manifold itself. I don't have to, but I actually got that idea from Sam on his new race car build, so I'm thinking I'm going to do that just, for extra vibration stuff. I'm pumped to get the parts, but just waiting is the worst thing, because it's like you're looking at everything. It's like I can't do anything. I'm waiting on parts to assemble. Everything is already apart. All I can do is clean, and I've already cleaned my heart out. So I might do a little scrubbing here and there, but for the most part, yeah, I'm just waiting on parts. So another thing, here's a little background info on what's going on. So I was gonna race a Civic this weekend. I was supposed to race tomorrow to Saturday, which would have been like the 20th to the 21st, and then I leave the track on the 22nd, so a weekend thing. And that was going to be 2 hours north of me at Brainerd International Speedway, or Raceway, whatever the fuck it is. I was super stoked. But earlier this week, I had this, I'll put it in a layman's terms, I had a cyst in an area that is very inconvenient, and caused me to have problems sitting down. I'm okay. It was highly infected though, but I'm pretty sure we got that all under control. I'm still dealing with a little bit of pain sitting down, but like right now, kind of sitting up in an upright position, I feel all right. So we're not racing this weekend. I don't want to push it, but that also means that after like I fully heal, I really have to go hard on the cars, especially the Civic. But yeah, I'd like to do some work on the turbo tag, the car itself. I'd like to get the camber, back kind of not as crazy. But I'm just focusing on the engine right now. And then once the engine is together, then I'm going to focus on the chassis more so over the fall/winter. Because I'm not doing anything to the car other than like adjusting things and maybe adding small things, because I want to enjoy the car. The car is fine as is. It's running great. I've actually been beating on it the past couple days. So the car is staying as is because it's good. I can rely on it. And then once all of this is together and I have all of the parts I need to put on to support this engine and the power that I'm looking for, then we will swap it. So that's the plan on that. That's what we're gonna do. That was the plan from the beginning. But yeah, every time I drive that, I'm like, imagine having even double the horsepower that this car has now. Hold on. I might stay. Hold on. There we go. All right. So this is gonna be one of the last clips of this video, as we're going to kind of keep the tradition. First video is like most of the engine build, and then second video is a little bit of that engine build, and then we get it like fully together and running. I don't know if this is going to be the same, but I just wanted to end this off. Just kind of get this video done out of the way so I can start filming some other stuff and not think about this video. My brain works weird, whatever. So final things is basically just accessories and getting the top end of the engine together, I suppose. So I have a couple parts here. I'm gonna go through them. A couple hardware bits, gaskets, stuff like that. So let's do it. So we got valve cover gaskets with new grommets. I splurged and got the Gates RPM belt. I've never bought one, and they look great. The blue looks awesome. There's a couple different colors you can get for these engines, timing belt wise. It all depends on manufacturer, but like HKS, they do a purple belt. Some other brands do like a red belt, which looks really cool. But we're Gates. We're a Gates guy. We like the Gates stuff. Every water pump I get, brand new, is Gates. That's also on the list. We got a Gates water pump. I don't need to show you guys what's in there. It's just a water pump. You guys have seen it a couple times on this channel. Oh, another thing with the RPM belt, the expensive one, you get a sticker. You'd think you'd get one with how many timing belts I've bought from them, but then we got the tried and true Melling oil pump. Aftermarket or brand new pump wise, there's only two that I would get because it's way cheaper than OEM and you know it's going to work. Is the Melling oil pump for, doesn't really matter, but if you get like the one that's specifically for the VTEC engines, you know it's going to be high pressure, but realistically they're all the same. Same thing with the ACL race pump. I've only bought one of those, and that's on the Civic race engine build, and I actually used that pump on the engine before it blew up in the Civic. Or I'm pointing at the tag, but the Civic's up there. You guys get it. And until the bearing went like 90, 95 PSI. So like if you want high pressure that's consistent, ACL race pump, no question. So that's that. I'll go through these parts right here. So all my other small hardware stuff I get from IPG. Check out IPG parts. They're great. James is a good dude. He always hooks me up. I email him every once in a while, see if I can get, see if he can source me parts, and he has been able to in the past, so I'm going to stick with IPG. This is a thermal gasket. I've never run the thermal gaskets before, so I'm interested to see how they perform. But yeah, just hardware stuff like thermostat stuff, rear main. We got oil pump. This is all brand new hardware from Honda, packaged by IPG, but we got rear main seal, brand new Honda rear main seal. Yeah, water pump, oil pickup. Yeah, so stuff like that. It's really nice to have all new, fresh hardware, especially for a build that's going to be making some power. You know this shit's going to stay together. I'm actually going to be running an old thermostat. I don't know if anybody can see, but there's a hole right on top of the jiggle pin. I actually picked that trick up from some older cats. Well, they're not older. They're older than me, but they've been in the game for longer. They're like, try this, because I originally did this when I was having overheating issues in the original Civic engine. I wasn't. My gauge was just all messed up, and I didn't know how hot the engine bay was supposed to get. But we're going to bring this thing back. I'm going to put a new gasket on it, and we're going to clean it. We're going to run it. I might even test this just to make sure it still works. Hopefully the coolant in there didn't get all gummed up. Factory thermostat housing, and then we are going to modify the water pipe. So, shit's falling. That's going to get cut, and then there's the same thing over here. That's going to get cut, welded, and then all this will get cleaned and then repainted so it doesn't rust anytime soon. And I'm cutting those because I'm not going to be running the factory oil cooler, which I can show you guys. I'm not going to be running that because I'm going to be running a sandwich plate. But I am going to keep this for future endeavors because it is pretty neat. And it's all the hardware is there too. So, yeah, that's that. I got all the parts for that. Only thing I'm waiting on is cam seals. They would be the front cam seals that go on the camshaft that sit right in here. And then all this can get assembled. I have all new hardware for the cam caps, so that'll all go together good. We got new gaskets in our oil orifice guys there. We have a couple new O-rings or crush washers on where our rocket rods go. A couple other crush washers here and there. But yeah, I'm just going to start throwing stuff on here and wait for RTV to dry, and then it'll all be ready when I need to actually put the whole thing together. So yeah, that's where we're at. Again, thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate it. I know, like I said, every time, not a bunch of people watch these, but anybody that is watching, I hope you're staying along for the ride and learning a little bit. Even though you may not like Hondas or you don't like B-Series, maybe you can learn a couple things. And if not, sorry, because that's what I'm trying to hear. I mean, that's what I'm here trying to do. Just show my experiences, show my learning process, and then hopefully other people can learn from my mistakes and learn from my learning, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, other than that, I appreciate everybody for watching. I'm going to be doing some filming on the OG tag Probably for the next month. Just tinkering with it, painting. It's a whole other process that I'm trying to get into is learning how to paint, and I'm going to get a paint gun set up and whatever. I'll save that for the next video. But like I said, for the third and final time, thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate you. Stick around for more. It's going to be freaking awesome.